I never thought I'd be in a situation where I'm like, all right, who should be in this last spot? Jokic or Steph? We're deciding between like, should I even have a center, or should we really do small ball? Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you time in a knot? Can you time in a bow? Welcome to the Harvester Sports Podcast.
Holy,
that's gonna be the new
really
patented
good.
intro.
That's really good.
How are your earlobes doing, man? This is episode 43 of the potty.
44.
Yep.
Yeah.
43 would have been the last
That would have been the last one.
The next one will be 45.
Yeah.
With your hosts.
Austin Carr. I don't know why. I usually I got scared. My bad.
And Noah Pitcher.
Oh, do we say our last names?
Well, you said yours.
Have we ever said our last names? That's what.
Oh, I think they know your last name.
Oh, let's
I don't know if they know my last name. I honestly think if I had to put a percentile on the number of our viewers that would think my last name is also Carr and I'm related.
Pretty high.
It's a good amount.
It's gotta be pretty high. Well, our family got told a couple days ago
that Brandon's related to you?
No, by another family.
How many of them do you think that Brandon's related?
Oh, yeah, pretty high. We got told by another family a couple days ago that the Carrs are tribal because we all live very close to each other. Would you agree with that or no?
Yes.
Yeah, but how come?
And have family tattoos.
Yeah, but how come she said, and some of you look like Vikings? I was like this. She said some of you. I was like, wait, which one? I said, let's point.
Some of you look like Vikings, and then point directly at Darren.
Yeah, I was like, can we just go around the room and say which one of us look like Vikings?
That's because I'm like a decent amount Swedish and Norwegian.
Yeah.
But I would never tell somebody that. I say I'm whatever percent Viking.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight up. I don't know if I can prove that or not.
My family's going through the same thing you said they were going through. My mom checked her ancestry and stuff has changed again.
Yeah, it updates.
Yeah, she was like, okay.
Yeah, I had an identity crisis. It said, oh, okay, all of a sudden now you're also Irish. And was that in the patch notes? What's the difference?
That's what my mom said. She's like, did a whole group of my people just get wiped away? What happened to that percentage?
Yeah, I lost half of my Scottish heritage just disappeared in front of my eyes.
Isn't that wild that they could be like, oh, I'm sorry, and they just move stuff around?
So there's some problems with your DNA, and then they redraw the borders of the countries, and all of a sudden you're 10% less Scottish. It's like, all right, man.
Oh, sorry. All right, let's get into it. All right, let's do some news first. So we all heard about the Kyler Murray contract, 5 years, $230 million deal. But the biggest part that has been talked about that contract is the independent study clause, right? That's been a lot of heat around because everyone's like, is he a little kid? Do they have to hold his hand? But basically it said he has to, for 4 hours a week, study film during the regular season. And people are like, why is it so weird that why are they very specifically making sure he does that? Do you think that was an attack on him, or do you think that was something the Cardinals were just trying to establish? Because a lot of people are being like, this is if they put this in, this means Kyler, you specifically, you have to study.
Well, I don't know, because it's definitely not an unreasonable or weird thing to ask someone to ask a quarterback to do. But is that a typical thing that's ever in?
No, this is the first time
contract
this clause has ever been in it. That's when people are like, okay.
There's an alternate reality where that clause was invented in 2007 or 2008, and Jamarcus Russell became the franchise quarterback of the Raiders.
That's true. They never needed Darren because they gave us Jamarcus, studied those tapes, studied those blitz packages, like he said.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I would be self-conscious if I was Kyler.
Yeah, but the weirdest part was when he was the media for some reason. He was like, it's really weird how you guys are attacking me for this and called me childish and stuff. But my whole thing is we the Harvester, I'll put us in the media. We didn't put that contract in there. Your team put that in there and you agreed to it. Why are we getting hated on for talking about this contract that was just released?
Well, I think there's different ways that you can talk about it. If you're saying oh, this just proves that Kyler Murray's a little baby child that doesn't belong in the NFL, then yeah, that's pretty out of pocket. But if you're just saying oh, this is interesting,
yeah,
seems to kind of point towards the way that the Cardinals view Kyler.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the media is going to do what the media is going to do. If your contract says like, Kyler, make sure you're watching tape, then you should know the media is going to react to that.
Just like what you said, I saw a lot of people trying to also defend him as they're like feeling bad for him. Like first, like he gets called short, say he's too small for everything. People say like, leave the little kid running around, and then they're like, now like this thing comes out, and people are like, oh, now the little boy needs like help studying, like he has to have like this is your homework time, and people feel kind of bad for the man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got to be more about making a statement than anything, because there's no way to regulate. Like if
that's what I'm saying.
It's not like they're gonna watch film for 4 hours a week. So it's got to be kind of like really just making a statement towards Kyler, being like, "Yo, watch your film."
Unless it's like,
but that's something that they do
modules. Like how you finished? You finished 12 out of 30 of your modules for this week.
Yeah, well, in high school, our little grammar program called them dubious minutes.
He's just leaving it on.
If you got caught just having it open, but you weren't actually doing anything, you were just letting it run to rack up the time, and they'd say those are dubious minutes.
Like, Kyler, are we actually watching film, or were you watching YouTube in the background?
Yeah, I mean, it's a normal thing to ask your QB to. Yeah. I'm sure that's a conversation that a lot of coaches and offensive coordinators have with their QB, is saying, yo, watch at least 4 hours a week of film so we know what we're doing. But yeah, putting it in the contract is interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And Kyler was like very specific about what you just said too. He was like, it's laughable that some people think I could have made it this far without watching film. Like people think like this means like he's not watching anything at all, like week to week.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, honestly, I don't think it's that big or weird, that big of a deal or that weird to put that in a contract. If that is something, because contracts are long and there's lots of stuff in that, and you can kind of nitpick at what's in contracts. But it's the fact that it's the first time that's ever been. Like if that was like the norm, that's I think is commonly in QB contracts, then it's like, yeah, that's part of their job. So it's reasonable to expect them to do that. But it's just that's like the first time they've gone out of their way to put in a contract.
To mention it. Like this specific clause, like you have to watch 4 hours of film a week.
Means it's going to feel targeted, which, I mean, maybe it might say more about the Cardinals than about Kyler, but it's just, that's not really
I think
the way it's interpreted.
I think it does say more about the Cardinals. I also saw some people saying, some people making jokes about it. They're like, and the A's have offered Kyler $300 million to switch to baseball, and they promise free V-Bucks, no bedtime.
Well, did you see the? I think I texted it to you. The stat about how much Kyler's
contract versus how much
Kyler's making. Here, let me find the exact. Kyler Murray is set to make $46.1 million a year with his contract extension on the Cardinals. The Oakland A's, who drafted him in the first round, their entire payroll is $48.5 million this season. So he's making almost as much as the entire
A's organization.
Do you think he made the right choice?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You think he chose the right sport?
That's what's always funny. Like when people are like, "Oh, should he have played baseball?" I'm like, maybe if somebody else drafted the man. You know what I'm saying? Like not with who specifically drafted him. If I heard the A's called me, even though I love the A's, I'm like, I'm probably not going to get the bag. I'm going to be shipped out quick.
Well, Kyler's a good quarterback. You can't look at him and be like, oh, well, maybe he would have been. Yeah. He was a first rounder, and like he also won the Heisman.
And some other contract news: Debo Samuel just signed his 3-year extension, $73 million today. Finally, all that San Francisco drama is over. Remember, the whole thing is like deleting posts and stuff like that. I was a part of it for sure, because I was flooding all the TikToks like da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Do you now that Debo has signed an extension, we don't have any inside intel to say for sure, but but if you had a guess, do you think he ever actually wanted out of San Francisco, or was that just a way to get the money he wanted?
That's a good question. I feel like he might have actually. I think he might have just been like some of the San Francisco fans just been frustrated with like. He didn't see a direction the team was going with maybe the quarterback situation, like stressed him out, you know? Like maybe he was like, if the team's having trouble picking which quarterback is starting and I feel like my job's not like intact, like with the mission, then I might just want to go somewhere else and play somewhere.
Yeah, I'd say at the end of the day, I don't know that he really wanted to be gone, but I think I could definitely see him having frustrations with the unclear QB situation, and then also potentially the play style of how physically he was being used in the longevity of his career and stuff like that. But,
and now the Niners officially said Trey's going to be our guy, and they've told. The weirdest part to me was them telling Jimmy G to not go to training camp, which is wild. Like being
did they really?
Yeah, they said don't come, which is insane.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I think to me when they say stuff like that, it sounds like Jimmy G has been trying to like latch onto their backs. You know what I'm saying? And be like, because there is that little like those rumors around that Jimmy G.
They want to be able to like when they're running QB drills, not have Jimmy. That actually makes sense. If you're really wanting to move on. But I still think you want him to be at training camp.
That's what I'm saying.
But I can understand not
distractions and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I can understand not wanting them like side by side running drills together, Trey and Jimmy, because that is a little. You run the risk of Jimmy doing better at those drills than Trey, and then you're like, this doesn't look good. So.
People are saying like the rumors were that Jimmy G was like overplaying his injury, so they couldn't trade him, which I don't think is the case. Jimmy G seems like too nice of a guy to try to.
I also think Jimmy, at the end of the day, I don't think Jimmy wants to be a backup. I think he wants to.
Yeah,
I think he'd love to start for the Niners, but he wants to start.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's like, I'll just fake an injury so I can ride the bench in San Francisco. I think he probably wants to start somewhere. I'd imagine. I mean, he's a competitor.
Yeah, and if you're San Francisco, are you glad like the Debo like drama's all done now and you got him locked in for at least 3 more years so that you can just kind of relax and get back to the plan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you can relax when you have a unexperienced QB still. Yeah. but that's one less thing to have to worry about. There's just I don't know. There's a lot that's unclear, but to not have to worry about your wide receiver 1 and your QB. Yeah. Now you're just and now they've made a decision about their QB, so they at least are headed in a direction rather than being in no man's land. If you had
to make a guess, do you think the Niners win their division this year, or do you think it's gonna be
no?
Who do you think? You think Rams win it again?
Seahawks don't win it. Let me think about who's in there. Seahawks don't win it. Cardinals come in second. Rams take first. Niners come third. That would be my prediction today. That being said, I think the Niners are a high ceiling, low floor team.
Yeah.
Because it's all Trey. Yeah. They've got the talent is around Trey. If Trey balls out, they could be a good team. If he doesn't, then they won't be.
That's been the problem with the Niners for a few years now. That's what the whole thing of like Jimmy and Trey was, is like they have the team to win a Super Bowl. They just need to find which quarterback is going to lead them there. Like they have a great team. And just like we said last week about Kenny Pickett, that's going to be a lot of like what happens relies on their young quarterback.
Yeah. If you had to rank those teams, what do you think the standings are in the NFC
Seahawks
West?
Deep fifth. Seahawks might be
fifth.
Or fifth.
That's how bad they are. They're not even
Seahawks deep fourth. They might be drafting. They might be drafting like top 5. Like Seahawks might be drafting pretty high. And then I think with the top 3, I think it's going to be like if the Niners play like you say, where like they have a really like they have a high ceiling, right, stuff like that. I think they could be in the running for like second or something like that. I don't think they're going to win the division with a young Trey this year. I think the Rams have it locked up. Then if I had to like pick, it'd probably be, like you said, I'd probably go Cardinals and then Niners. But I think it's going to be really close, like, or has the potential to be really close.
Yeah, I mean, that division tends to always have really good divisional games.
Yeah.
The divisional matchups are some good ones.
Yeah, and also with these contracts, it's also funny to like put it into perspective that like, I saw this and I couldn't stop thinking about it, but the whole country of India spent $75 million to go to space, and the Jags spent $84 million to get Christian Kirk. Does that just put everything in like perspective for you a little bit? Also, I have
no idea how much it costs to go to space.
I was gonna say,
I have no ballpark idea about.
I was gonna say when I read the number, I was like, that feels low to me. I thought to go to space, it was like hundreds of millions of dollars. Like it was like we gotta really work to get there.
I don't know, but I was also talking to you that I feel like once you go to space a couple times, do they take the same spaceships multiple times? So like, all right, going out for a drive and take the same like once you've done it once, if you wanted to do the same thing again, isn't it?
Yeah. How much gets like moved to the side after you've gone the second time? You're like,
I mean, I guess they learn every time, so they never actually do the same thing twice. But
because they're like, we probably didn't need this. I guess we can just we can lose some weight. But also with NFL news, before we move on. Oh, my bad.
Did they go to the moon? Because I guess you said space and I started picturing the moon.
Yeah, me too, because that's why I just link up.
But I guess they're probably not, is there an Indian flag on the moon now? Probably
no.
They're probably just floating in space.
Yeah, they probably just
went to like the ISS or something.
Yeah, also, I never saw what happened with that rocket that was spiraling towards Earth like a couple nights ago.
Well, this is the first I heard about it, so glad I survived.
It's like a rocket had like a weird entry, and they like mapped where it was going to crash. I think it crashed in the ocean, but like one time it flew right over Atlanta, and everyone said Atlanta can't catch a break. Could you imagine? Atlanta's just that down bad. They can't hold leads and they get hit by a little baby rocket.
Do you remember in school when they were flying the spaceship over or you might have been in New York, but we were under the flight path and so we went outside in the middle of class. They said, everybody go outside. And then we looked up in the sky and there's an airplane with a spaceship strapped to the back of it that they're flying over. And you're like, wow.
I remember when the eclipse would happen and everyone was like, everyone just goes outside and just looks at the sun.
Oh, yeah. When they kept us in high school, didn't they like not let us go
Yeah, they didn't let us
outside?
go see, which is wild.
I said, I need to go use the restroom. I had no glasses
You know what's
on.
wild? Was I,
Also,
for some reason, thought you were one of the families that flew to randomly, like, middle of the country to see
watch
it.
it in like Oregon or
Yeah,
wherever it was.
There's some people that flew out. They're like, I'm going to go over here just to watch it for like 30 seconds. Like,
it's cool if it's happening and you look up and see it, but I'm not planning my life around to watch
after the 30 seconds happens, you're like, I'm in Oregon.
Also, I definitely was one of the people that, like, I wasn't staring at it, but if I didn't have glasses on, I'd still be getting a little...
Oh, yeah. I go...
I'd say, is this going to bug me?
No, they made it seem like as soon as you look, your eyes melt. So I looked at it a few times, I was like, it's not that bad.
Also, how offensive is that for them to be like, we don't trust you guys to not stare at the sun. We're going to just not leave you outside. We're just going to keep you all inside.
Imagine the teacher when you were like, when she knew what time it was, like, I'll go to the bathroom. You think she knew what was going on?
I think somebody might have let me use their glasses or something. Because I think they said if you have glasses, you're allowed to go outside or something like that.
That's
that's what they said.
Do you remember, I think the power went out and they said we could go home because it's been too long. And as we're walking to our cars, the power turned back on and everyone sprinted. Everyone's like, not here.
That was almost as good as when we went out to lunch and then they said bomb threat, don't come back to school.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good too. You remember the guy walking his dog when they told us not to come back?
He's got a gun.
Remember the random like naked person that hopped our fence and was just running through school, and they all cornered him?
I think our school had more shutdowns and lockdowns than the average school potentially.
100%. Okay, so we're expected to get the news on Deshaun Watson's suspension tomorrow from retired judge Sue L. Robinson, the NFL's appointed disciplinary.
Well, I guess this is gonna, by the time this is out, they'll know.
They'll know the deals.
They'll know that he's suspended.
Yeah, they'll know. So the NFL is pushing for an indefinite suspension of at least 1 year, meaning they want to suspend him for a year, with him having to apply to be reinstated into the NFL. But this judge is going to get to decide what it is, and the NFL can appeal it, and then Goodell gets to decide. How long do you think he's going to get for your final guess before it's released tomorrow?
I think he'll get...
How long do you think he'll get? How long do you think he should get? What do you I think those are two answers for me.
I think he'll get... Optimistically, I would say he'll get a year.
Yeah.
I think he should not have to worry about an NFL suspension because he should be in prison.
That was really good.
So this shouldn't even be a question of, what's the NFL going to do? It should be how long is he in prison for.
That's really good. You got me on that one.
So yeah, I don't know.
That was really, I was so... I mean,
it's hard to think, like, if somebody commits like horrible offenses like that, it's hard to even think about, like, well, how many football games is the right amount?
Exactly.
How many times do I suspend him from playing football? Like, it's hard to even quantify how many football games equates to, like, horrific crimes.
Don't look at who's calling me. Don't look at people.
That's interesting.
But it's so... That exactly was what's wild to me. It's like, they are putting this crime equals this amount of football games you can't play.
Yeah,
that's the wild part to me.
There's no amount of football games
that equal...
where I'm like, okay... Yeah, no, that's about a year-long suspension.
That's they're like 6 games is a sexual assault. I'm like, what? Like, saying like that's awful.
I mean, it's hard to equate those things. I mean, there's stuff that happens on the field, like somebody, like a head-to-head contact. So, and they get suspended for like 1 or 2 games. We're like, yeah, that's about worth 1 or 2 games. But when somebody's committing like horrible crimes, it's like, I don't know how many football games you should be suspended for that. I think you should just be in prison.
Yeah, I think he's going to get... I would give him the year with he has to be reinstated or longer. I think he's only going to get like 6 games. I think they're really going to undercut it.
Yeah, I think maybe half the year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised with an 8-game. I think...
which is still wild.
People want to see the Browns fall again.
Oh, yeah, they really want to see
with the Baker thing, with the Deshaun Watson trade, everybody wants to see the Browns down bad again.
We see Baker play the Browns week 1.
Yeah, that makes a lot of...
It's going to be
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'd say Baker Mayfield against his former team, the Browns, week 1. Prediction, 500 yards, no interceptions, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's going to pop off on Jimmy Garoppolo. There's the Browns starting quarterback. We still have no clue on that either.
Oh, interesting. Who even is it? Who they got? You could have named any backup quarterback, and I would have believed that they're on the Browns now. Josh Rosen, all right.
I think he is. I think he is there too. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he's on the Browns.
Yeah, I think but someone posted a picture. His Twitter, like the little picture, is him getting drafted by the Cardinals. The big one is him on the Dolphins. It says nothing about him being on the Browns.
That's an all-time quote. Oh yeah, no, I do remember seeing that actually.
Yeah.
That they're like he's repping all the teams except for the one that he's currently on.
Yeah. Oh, but it said something about the Falcons.
Yeah,
wild.
he had in his bio it said he was on one team. His profile picture he was on another team, and his banner was another team. Where it was 3 different teams, and none of them were the current team he's on.
That quote I knew what you were gonna say when he said
he said he wears number 9 because there were 9 mistakes chosen ahead of him.
And even the worst ones when he said he was gonna win more Super Bowls or however many Brady wins, he's gonna win one more. Is that quote good?
I mean, it's things like that could have aged really well.
Do you think when you're gonna get drafted in the NFL, they give you a sheet of things not to say, and that's probably number 1? Don't quote how many Super Bowls you're gonna win.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like I would for sure hit all the generic lines. I'm just gonna play my hardest.
Say I want to win some chips. I want to give it my all.
Yeah. I don't want to leave here without a ring. Well, all right, good man. Now I wanted to play a little start bench cut, but I have a question before we play it. Do you want just the NFL ones right now, or do you want? I have NFL, NBA, and MLB. Do you want all of them right now?
NFL, I guess.
Okay. I don't know. All right, good. And then that's smart.
I thought you were gonna mix them and be like, all right, start bench cut. Steph Curry, Josh Allen, Josh Allen, and Shohei Ohtani. Like, okay.
All right.
Yeah. I'm like,
what sport are we playing? And you're playing hockey. Alrighty, so let's start with the NFL first. You have to start one, bench one, and cut one. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes.
Currently
playing right now.
Currently, I am cutting the GOAT.
Okay, cutting Brady. Now, who's starting?
That might be controversial, but
I think now it makes sense.
In today's game, he's not in the top 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, and right now, who are you starting and benching?
I think I have to start Pat.
I would say the same thing. I would start Pat. I'm benching Aaron. I'm cutting Brady.
Yeah.
I think especially if you're picking right now. All time, different story. But right now, that's probably the order to go with. Now.
Yeah. I mean, all time, yeah.
He's all time, same thing. All time, same list. Now, let's do the War of the Jays. Ready? So we got Josh Allen. My bad.
Why did I think you were going to name off different Blue Jays?
Why would I said that? Did I think I should name off different pairs of Jordans? So, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. This is a good one.
Okay, I'm starting Josh Allen.
Me too. Starting Josh.
And who are the other ones?
Herbert and Burrow. This one's hard.
Man.
This one's hard.
I think I got to. This one's close.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to have to cut Herbert.
Okay, so you're going to cut Herbert and you're going to bench Burrow.
Yeah, those two are close of who I'm cutting and benching. Josh Allen is starting by a lot.
Yeah, Josh Allen's starting by a lot.
Like he's got the QB1 spot locked away.
For me, Josh Allen's going to start easy. That one's locked in. Herbert's going to be benched. Burrow's going to be cut. But I think, like you said, it's very close, those last two. It's neck and neck, and then it's all right. for who's starting.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm inclined to. I almost said Herbert. I almost said Herbo.
Mm-hmm.
But Joey B did take his team to the Super Bowl last year, so that's sort of why I've given him the benefit. It's close, but that's why I chose him over the other one.
That's true. Now I'm gonna throw some wide receivers at you. All right. You get a little smirk. You're a little scared. So start, bench, cut. Devontae Adams, Debo Samuel, Cooper Kupp. Careful.
Well, this is a little tricky because realistically, Debo Samuel, if I put him at bench, can I start him at RB?
That is true.
Is that the workaround? Because if so, then
true.
that's what's going to happen.
You can throw that in there if you want. That stipulation.
Because if that is allowed, then I'm I'm benching Debo at wide receiver, but starting him at RB, and then I'm cutting White Boy, and starting Devontae.
I'm the same thing. Devontae's starting. Debo's benched. Cooper Kupp sadly got to go.
That being said, if they're playing at strictly wide receiver positions, I'm taking Cooper Kupp over Debo.
Attaboy. That's good.
What would you if it's just strictly receiver?
If it's strictly, I think I'm still
taking Debo.
I'm doing Devontae starting, Debo bench, Cooper is gonna have to be cut. Just for right now. Now we throw some other wide receivers at you. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, start bench cut. This one's a little easier for me, I think.
It might be that order for me.
That's why
I'm starting JJ.
Yep.
I think this year he has the potential to be the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then it's just Tyreek's experience, so I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. That being said, That being said, I'm not going to. And instead, maybe I should, but I'm not going to. I'm going to start JJ. I'm going to bench Bengal boy.
Yeah, Jamar.
Blanked on Jamar's name.
Starting Justin.
And then I'm going to cut Tyreek Hill.
Yep, I was doing the same thing. I think I'm going to start Jamar, bench Justin, cut Tyreek. But
you're starting Jamar.
I'm starting Jamar Chase, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting Justin.
That one's just like the other one. That one's pretty close for me, too. Like, that one, a little flippy-flop with Jamar and Justin. Tyreek Hill's still getting cut. But those two are going to flip-flop.
Yeah, Justin and Jamar, if you were starting a team, or if you were the owner of a team, a GM, and you could have one of the two Jamar as your wide receiver one going forward, you sign them this offseason, would you sign Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase?
Oh, man. I think, personally, this is going to be contradictory to what I just said with who I would start and who I would bench, but I think I would take Justin Jefferson over Jamar Chase.
Because he
hits the
gritty better.
Yeah, yep, that's the only view that I'm on. Don't care about nothing. I'd be in there.
But realistically, both of them are going to score a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah.
But who's going to hit the cleaner gritty after they score?
There's going to be some Viking fans that are really happy after that one. But yeah, I think I would have to take. Yeah, so for the start bench cut, Jamar starting, Justin's benched, Tyreek's cut. But if I had to choose one of the two to start a franchise with, Justin's getting signed and Jamar.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, make it make sense.
Fair enough.
Now, I'm going to throw 3 tight ends at you. Okay, then we're done with the NFL ones. Ready? Start, bench, cut. The big 3. George Kittle, Darren Waller, Travis Kelce.
For this year?
For this year. Currently, like right now. Let's say barring any injuries and stuff like that.
If they're completely healthy this year, I'm biased.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think I'm gonna cut Travis Kelce.
I'm biased. I'm gonna cut Darren Waller. That's what you're gonna say.
I'm biased even so. No, I'm gonna cut Travis Kelce, and I'm going to. It's hard to compare different
types of
I mean, tight end is an interesting position because there's so many different styles.
George Kittle is more of a tight end than Darren Waller is.
Yeah, Darren Waller is
he's whatever you
really large wide receiver that
he's
plays tight end.
Yeah. We're a little too close on how we would pick our guys, because I'm the same thing right now. I'd cut Travis Kelce.
And then
But I think I'm going to have to betray the Raiders on this one.
I mean, realistically, if it's assuming they're healthy, both of them had injuries last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to go with D-Wall, but...
You're going to start D-Wall?
I'm going to go with D-Wall, but that's just because that's the system I want. The system that I would want to...
that you would run.
The system that I would want to run is going to favor a pass-catching tight end that can get open, and that's D-Wall.
That's true.
But if you run a different system, then George Kittle
realistically,
is a better option.
Your...
My Madden offense.
Yeah, I'd say your Madden offense would probably have all 3 of these guys.
My Madden offense would have all 3 of them, but I would have D-Wall at the 1 because he would be my pass-catching one, and the other ones would be blocking tight ends.
That's good. I think I would go... Travis Kelce's getting cut. Darren Waller's getting benched. Kittle's starting. I think that's going to be mine. Now let's talk about some MLB news and maybe some MLB stories instead of news. This one isn't really news. But the Mariners versus the Astros. They've had some beef a little bit this season and just got a little crispier, right, with today's game. So the Mariners starting pitcher, George Kirby, hit Jose Altuve in the head with the first pitch today. Continuing a long feud that the teams have had. And Mariners fans are saying, this is the weird part, Mariners fans are saying it was unintentional but also justified. So how can one be unintentional but also justified? I don't know.
It's like, I didn't mean to hit him, but I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
But if I wanted to, I would.
Yeah, exactly. And their reasoning is that they think the Astros have been targeting Mariners players. So the Astros have hit 15 Mariners batters this year. They've had a pitcher and a manager suspended for throwing at Mariners players earlier this year. And just yesterday, the Astros hurt Julio Rodriguez, sending him to the injured list. But there's also a little conspiracy around that because Julio Rodriguez did swing at the pitch that hurt him. So, which side are you on? Do you think it was intentional that they hit Jose Altuve with the very first pitch of the night?
It almost seems too
good to be true.
No, it almost seems like it's like if you did that on purpose, you're an idiot. Like play a little like if you unless you're really just wanting to make a statement, but if you're wanting to hit someone and get away with it,
hit him with a third pitch.
Be smart.
Yeah, hit him with the second pitch. Don't hit him with the very first pitch out the gate.
Mm-hmm. Jose Altuve also has a very small hitbox.
That's true. So it's. But do you agree with the Mariners fans? Do you think with the stuff I gave you, do you think Astro players have been targeting Mariners batters?
I don't know. I'm inclined to think that the Astros are a dirty team, so I don't know. But I don't know. But
were you like, especially
only God knows?
Yeah, only God does know.
And the Astros.
That's true. Especially when the Astros were having their what was that Twitter account they call them? Like their garbage
tour? The shame tour.
Yeah, the shame tour. Take away your pride and stuff. How you feel? Do you think people intentionally hitting them was good, or were you not a fan? I know you think it was. You were a fan of them getting hit, but
deserve to get hit a lot, a lot.
So you were team, maybe hit one of them.
I mean, you think that watching Joe Kelly pitch against the Astros wasn't the best? That
was a great game. That face will go down in history. The pouty face was so good.
Yeah, I mean, it is also interesting that the MLB has come a long ways in that intentionally hitting players is much less common now than it used to be. Mm-hmm. It used to be much more part of the game, partly because it used to be like if you pimped a home run and bat flipped.
Yeah.
Like there was a time where if you celebrate after hitting a home run,
you're gonna get hit.
Then somebody was gonna get hit.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, and it's a good thing that we've come to a point where where Aaron Judge hit the gritty after he walked off the other night as he crossed home plate.
That's the end of the sentence. I'm glad we got to a point where Aaron
he didn't get. I mean, but like we're at a point where Aaron Judge can hit the gritty and then not have his entire team get hit in the head the next day, or I mean,
and have them be assaulted because he did something that you're supposed to do in the game of baseball.
Yeah, that now players can. I mean, people are still stupid about some of the unwritten rule stuff, but at least now you can show a little more emotion.
Yeah, exactly. I always loved when someone would get hit and it was instant fight. That was always my favorite. It was like first pitch, hit, and then everybody's there. I'm like, okay, there's a little tension, but there's a little tension that was built up. They were ready for this moment.
Yeah, and the best is when because anytime the bench is clear and the brawl starts, the players that are in the bullpens, they don't want to be left out, so you see them like this across the field.
That's the best when the camera's kind of zoomed out and you see slowly coming in. Oh yeah,
you see one catcher and then a bunch of pitchers coming in from the bullpen like this.
A lot of time, sports fights, they never really look like real fights. It's just kind of dudes holding on to each other and kind of just we're locked in now.
Where it's. That's what a lot of the baseball fights are.
Yeah, it's kind of just a group of dudes like this.
There's definitely exceptions where people just get rocked. But
oh yeah, I'm glad they have the decency to drop the bat after they get hit and not bring the bat to the fight. Also,
that is true. If they were really pissed off, they would just
bring the bat with it. Yeah, I've seen pitchers throw the mitten though. Just call it mitten.
The mitten. I mean, Bryce Harper tried to do that once, and he absolutely threw it awfully and went straight at the ground, and it was super embarrassing. But Dodgers are in the same division as the Rockies, obviously, who play in Colorado.
Yep.
And I think sometimes people might underestimate how much the environment can play a factor in baseball, how far balls are going and all this stuff. Where you've got some teams that are playing, like in San Francisco, that's very like wet beach air, very very thick ocean air. Versus Colorado, balls tend to go a little bit further, as exemplified by Mr. Clayton Kershaw.
Oh no!
Okay, so
is this in defense of Clayton? Is this what you're about to hit me?
This is just pointing out that Coors Field is a wild ballpark.
Okay.
Just because it's in
higher,
because it's in Colorado,
up,
balls go a little further. But and it's very noticeable. This season, Clayton Kershaw, in every ballpark not named Coors Field, has pitched a 1.88 ERA. You know what his ERA is this year in Coors Field?
What?
8.68. After pitching there multiple times, his ERA is fully almost seven whole runs higher in Coors Park. And it's not just a fluky thing this year, because throughout his entire career, everywhere but Coors, career ERA of 2.34, at Coors 4.82 after being in the MLB for forever.
So it's almost like the atmosphere does is a little bit of a difference, you know?
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess you can pitch it differently because pitchers do pitch good there sometimes, but it's just like the ball's just different.
What would you say if the MLB tried to regulate like altitude? Like they try to not regulate.
What does that mean?
But they try to be like ballparks must be within this like sea level. Like they're like we're taking this out.
Oh, like Denver can't have a team? Like straight.
How come when
nope, Denver, nope.
When I said regular altitude, I imagine them out like scientists out there like
like trying to, is there a way that how come in my head I was like, if they put it in, if it's an indoor stadium, can they figure out a way to decrease the
like what if we put a Mexico City is the...
Or they just have to make it a bigger field to counteract it.
Oh, yeah.
And then the outfilders are just fighting for their lives because they have to run even further in the
in Colorado, the outfielders now can have horses. But like Mexico City, their arena is the highest in the world. What if we had a baseball game there? Like, what's going to happen? What's happening in those games?
Like last year, the All-Star game was in Coors, and they had the Home Run Derby there. The Home Run Derby should probably be there every year, straight up.
I saw Patrick Mahomes said he can probably throw 80 yards, like normally or in Colorado. He thinks he could throw 100 in Mexico City.
Yeah, I saw that. He's wrong. But he's wrong, but you could throw it pretty far. And I think people forget there is a big difference. Like playing in Denver makes a difference. If you ever go up to the mountains to just go snowboarding or whatever, you notice the difference.
Yeah. I can tell.
I mean, not necessarily you don't notice the difference of how far I could throw a snowball or whatever.
No, but you walk up some stairs and you go, why am I out of breath?
Yeah, my asthma feels a little extra spicy.
And you look on the sidelines in the Denver game, they got the masks on, like they try to like they got the breathing tanks. Yeah. Now would you like to get hit with some?
I'd just like to get hit.
Okay.
Smack me in the head.
With some start bench cut MLB edition.
Yeah, cool.
All right, start bench cut MLB edition. We're gonna start off with Mike Trout, Jose Ramirez. I almost read Steph Curry, so my bad. And Shohei Ohtani.
Well, that's impossible. How am I supposed to compare a pitcher to a Mike Trout? Are you talking for like batting? Just batting?
I'm just saying if you want this person on your team. I didn't mean to say they all had to accomplish the same job.
Well, if you start bench cut, that implies that I'm like putting them in the same position. You gave me a outfielder, a pitcher, and a third baseman. It's like saying start bench cut. Pat Mahomes, Justin Jefferson,
Bobby Wagner.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a little different because they all hit, but like, are you talking about just for batting?
Yeah, well, I was going to say just like who's on your team overall, but it does make sense that I should have.
I don't know. Start bench cut is a difficult game to do with the MLB because I don't know how you do that.
So you don't want me to read you Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, or Juan Soto right now either?
Well, no, that works. All outfielders. That one works.
Okay, so rewind time. Start bench cut. MLB edition. Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto.
Juan Soto's getting cut. I said that. I answered that too quickly that it seemed disrespectful.
That was really fast.
That being said, Juan Soto.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cutting Juan Soto. I'm benching Mookie Betts.
You're starting Aaron Judge.
Starting Aaron Judge.
That's
yeah.
really good.
Mookie Betts is potentially the best defensive right fielder in the game.
Is he going to be a Golden Glove winner this year?
Absolutely. I saw that man do black magic when I went to the game on Tuesday. He was throwing people out.
You answered two of those things really fast. The Juan Soto getting cut was really fast, and is Mookie going to be a Golden Glove winner? Were really fast answers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Seemed like they were already locked and loaded.
No, I saw that man just throwing people out at home like it was nothing. He said, "Here you go." He's throwing strikes from the outfield. Those are strikes across home plate. But yeah, I mean, you have to go with Aaron Judge to start. He's gonna probably win the AL MVP. He's hit at this point 42 or 43 home runs.
Now
and he hit the gritty the other night.
That's true.
I've not seen Mookie hit the gritty yet.
Now, in a perfect world for Fresno State, Aaron Judge wins MVP.
Yeah, Derek's got to put something together.
Derek wins MVP, but we could also add Paul George could win MVP.
Yeah, he'll be in the running this year. Paul George could win the MVP this year. I mean, actually, we haven't seen healthy Paul George for a minute. So if he's healthy,
that's true because we've said it a lot. I've said it a lot of times.
Quote Pop.
Yep. Which one quote do you want?
From Pop. Was it break legs like Paul George?
Oh, no. You meant Papa Carr. No. I was trying to think, dude. I was like, which one does he want right now?
Can't say Pop, forget the smoke.
Yeah, that's good. I was saying, Fresno State was the first school to have 3 athletes who came from there being their 3 respective Pro Bowls.
You know what the second school was? Cal Poly.
Was it?
Man, Cal Poly's we're
you're going up.
Two players drafted within the first 2 rounds of the MLB draft.
If Fresno gets pulled out of Mountain West, there's a team that could slip in.
I like to think that there's just a database of Papa Carr quotes that you were scrolling through when I said that.
Now, there's not much NBA news today, but we're getting close. Also, it's 4 days. We have 4 days, and then there's an NFL game, by the way. That just clicked in my head.
By the time this is up,
we will add it.
The NFL game will have already happened.
That's facts.
I'm just going to take the whole week to edit it. I'm just going to upload this Friday.
But also, isn't that the same football game?
Every time you mention something coming up, I'm just going to say, by the time this comes out, it's already happened.
Yeah. Did that come really fast to you? Like, the NFL's back?
Yeah.
I think it was the training camp part. I feel like for some reason training camp usually feels longer, but this one, like, we're already in it. I'm like, all right, that's cool. About this time is when we started to be like, Antonio Brown's a little weird. You know what I'm saying? Probably around this time is we're like, I think, remember it was like, he's suiting up for the game, but he will not be playing today. I was like, oh, why is he in pads? Like, why?
He's wearing everything but the helmet. Interesting.
What's his tweet say? He wants a specific helmet that is banned? But let's do it. NBA, start bench cut while you slurp on your milk. I'm just going to keep saying it's milk. They can't.
They have no way of knowing this.
Yeah, they have no way of knowing.
Listen, we were in a hurry. We were about to start. I went downstairs.
He had a panic attack.
I got stressed out. Couldn't find my hydro flask. Couldn't find any water bottles.
If I open this and it's daylight, I'm going to be stressed. That makes too much sense. It's the most dark I've ever seen in my life.
I got stressed out. Couldn't find a cup. Called an audible. What's Bear Grylls saying? Adapt, overcome.
Yeah, adapt, survive.
Yeah. My own piss I'm drinking.
I think I don't really know what a catheter is because when I think about it, I'm like, this is the worst possible thing ever to imagine.
Yeah, that is what it is. Then I feel like you know exactly what it is.
Okay, but I'm like, how big is the tube?
Don't make me describe to you what a catheter is on the podcast.
How big is the tube? Oh, got me. Oh,
no, I wasn't doing. I was showing you how big a catheter is. I wasn't doing the.
If you made this one, I'd throw up.
Oh, if just mid podcast, I said, look down here.
All right, let's do it. Start bench cut NBA edition. Ready? LeBron, Kyrie, KD.
Today,
right now. This is a good one. Yes. Sahil might come for you after this one.
I'm gonna have to cut Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's straight
I agree.
up.
I agree with you on that one.
Today, I'm cutting Kyrie. I'm
Yep.
benching Braun. I'm starting KD.
That's exactly was my exact thought. LeBron's getting benched. KD's starting. Kyrie's getting cut.
Yes.
Also, I saw that Kyrie
And
said,
I'm giving Kyrie a piece of my mind before I cut him. I'm calling him into the office saying, I'm giving him a little finger wag. A little, Kyrie.
Now, also, I saw real quick. I saw that Kyrie said he will play for the Nets without KD. Now,
Cool. Where were you last year trying to play for the Nets without? I don't know.
I'm glad. Sometimes I'm just like, when that news comes out, I'm like, thanks, man.
How come whenever all these rumors I'm seeing about like, ooh, KD could go here, Kyrie could go here, Russ could go here.
Yeah.
At some point, I've kind of just decided like, I'm like, whatever happens.
Yeah.
We're but sand in the wind.
Yeah, but does rage build when you see the photo of KD in a Celtics jersey?
Is that a thing people are talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work, but go for it. I mean, they'd have to trade all their good players.
Yeah.
Unless they've got a lot of draft picks, which I don't think they do.
I saw people also saying that the NBA trade market is inflated right now, and somebody's going to have to calm it down.
What does that mean, inflated?
Like, the amount of picks that the Nets probably want for KD, like, seeing all the other trades have gone down is probably not going to happen. Like, it's probably impossible.
You see what Rudy went for?
Yeah, like, they're saying, like, the Rudy trade and all stuff like that, like, the KD trade is probably going to be impossible for, like what they want initially.
And the only way I could see it even happening at this point is if it's a superstar for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if it's a superstar for a superstar situation, with some other picks and stuff worked in there, but at its core, that's what it is, because you can't scrounge up enough young bench players and first round picks to afford KD right now.
I don't think it can be up and comers and a load of picks. I think it'd be so much it'd be impossible. It has to be a star guy, which takes away most of the picks, and then fill in the rest for KD. All right, let's keep it going. Start, bench, cut. Giannis, Steph, Jokic.
Well, those are three very different. I mean, those are very.
I like doing.
I mean,
Note to myself next to Boston. Maybe change it up a little bit.
I never thought I'd be in a situation where I'm like, all right, who should be in this last spot, Jokic or Steph? We're deciding between like, should I even have a center, or should we really do small ball? Okay. Oh, that is interesting. It's an interesting one you got there.
I think so too. I think our starter is probably the same.
Does it rhyme with Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, it does. Okay.
And does it rhyme with me cutting the 2-time reigning MVP?
I think Giannis is starting. Steph's on the bench. I think Jokic is getting cut. I know that one hit.
Yeah, I think I'm doing the same. Even though Jokic is
insane.
Potentially the best player in the NBA. But I don't know. I have no justification for it at all, because he's probably better than Steph and potentially Giannis, but I'm cutting Jokic. It is what it is, man.
That's just like what I said. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson, but for this scenario, I'm going to take Jamal. Okay,
I can't cut. I'm going to start Giannis. I can't cut Steph.
No,
so
literally my
is
heart
what it is.
I can't make out the words, I'm going to cut Steph.
No, I tried to say I'm going to cut Steph. I actually tried, and it didn't come out. So
like, it would come out in that scenario where I said, I tried to say, but if I said, I'm going to, words don't come out. I was like, okay, I got one more. Start, bench, cut. The younger boys. Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Luka. This is the one I actually have to think about first.
I'm cutting D-Book.
Okay.
I'm starting Luka. I'm benching Tatum.
I think I'm cutting Tatum.
That being said, Luka's defense is not. I mean, that's a glaring weak point, but he's the best scorer out of all of them.
I think I'm cutting Tatum. And this is strictly off of the stuff we talked about a few weeks ago with the Kobe stuff. It stressed me out so much, I have a sour taste in my mouth. So I think I'm cutting Tatum, benching Luka.
This is no. Where are you going with this?
I think I'm starting Devin Booker. And now
hey, you do you, man.
Come. But I think that's gonna be the list. Put your own list in the comments then if you don't like mine. But I think that's gonna be mine. Solidified and locked in.
And
you would watch my starting lineup walk onto the court. Devin Booker would walk on, and Luka would sit on the bench.
I don't know. That's interesting.
And we would just have to live, because that's just the life we live now.
I mean, D-Book's, he's hit or miss, but so are they all. But I think Luka's the least hit or miss.
Let's do this one real quick. I'm going to make you hurt a little bit. I'm going to throw one at you for one more NBA. Start, bench, cut, the good old-fashioned playground talk. LeBron, Jordan, Kobe.
I'm cutting LeBron James.
Guess what? Same here. But...
And even though MJ was better than Kobe, I'm benching MJ and starting Kobe.
I think I'm cutting
I'd rather lose with Kobe at the helm than win with MJ at the helm, or especially LeBron. Yeah.
Was there any doubt in your mind when I mentioned that you were cutting LeBron in that scenario for you? Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm cutting LeBron. Kobe's bench. That hurts to say. I don't know why. There's some weird vibe around saying I'm benching Kobe. And I'm starting MJ. This one is not a start bench cut, though. This is a worse one. This is just a question. Because I saw it and I thought it was hilarious. Your wife's in labor. Okay?
Is she cute?
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Okay.
So your wife...
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's beautiful. Oh, you're going to cry? Don't cry. Listen, your wife's in labor. You call a cab, right? You get in the cab. He starts going, lights on. It's the cash cab. Do you play or do you say, just get me there?
Wait, what show was this in?
I don't know. It might have been a show, but
I just watched an episode of was this an episode of 30 Rock? Oh no, she wasn't in labor. She was in labor at the hospital, and he was trying to get to her. He had no money, so he took the cab.
No, that's the exact scenario. You're like, your wife's in labor. You have to get to her in the hospital.
Okay, yeah, that was an episode of 30 Rock.
Perfect.
I watched the other day.
So are you playing the game, or are you just saying, give me the hospital? I'll tell you right now. David Carr, Derek Carr, Darren Carr all said they're playing cash cab.
I'm not that familiar with cash cab enough to know how much money's on the table.
You can get a couple thousand. I think it gets pretty high. But also, their reasoning was cash cab will probably, they take you to the location. So they'll probably... Oh, but they kick you out if you lose. I forgot about that part.
Right, but I'm still... The pace at which I'm money in the bank, so I don't have to worry about that because I'm getting the questions right. And they're still taking me there. I mean,
okay. That changes a little bit. The most money ever won on cash cab was $6,000. I don't know why...
She's going to even if I don't make it in time... She's having the baby either way. What was me being there? How's that going to help?
That's what DC8 said. He said her labor probably take a couple hours. I'll finish cash cab 15 minutes.
If she's pissed at me for... That's true, too. But if she's pissed at me, then I'd be like, okay, here's $1 million. Go get yourself something nice.
The highest career earnings was $6,000. You said you won $1 million.
You said $6,000 is
$6,000 was the highest one.
I heard $6 million. Yes, here's $1 million. The most anybody has ever won on cash cab is $6,000.
Yeah. Well, specifically, it was 6,200.
Oh, 6,200.
Yeah, he's
6,000. Okay, 6,200 after taxes, 4,000.
Cash cab is still happening, by the way, right now. Someone is currently playing cash cab.
Is it in New York?
Yeah. Somebody's.
If you said it was in LA, it'd be me driving down to LA.
Just like you get in? No.
I'd say cab, and then as soon as I'd look at cash cab, no. Okay, never mind. I don't need to go anywhere.
How come that's my first thought? If I got in a cab, I'd be like, are these LED lights on the ceiling? I'd be like, first, because everyone gets in, they kind of sit, and then he goes, bam! I'd be like, this is not a normal interior. Also, the Mega Million, 1.3 million was just one, or 1.3 billion was just one. What's one thing you'd buy if you won the lottery?
The cheapest NFL team is the Cincinnati Bengals. It costs $2 billion.
Oh, so you could find somebody willing to pitch in, maybe, and complete it.
Well, in theory, I could probably just buy somebody's shares and be. I could.
That's fast.
How much do I got? $700 billion. $700 million?
Yeah, $700 million, yep.
Yeah, that's enough.
With
I could buy like 40% of the company or something. Or of the team, something like that.
How much? I was going to say, how much do you think buying half the Dodgers would be?
More than the Bengals, I would venture.